Ladies and gentlemen, guys and gals, non-binary pals, and a technical rainbow in between, this is Modular Media Wrestling Podcast. I am your host, Chris Boingo Ryder Gaston, and with me is my tag team partner,
The Vacuuminator, who is in such a good mood because he just discovered that Asuka deadass pulled a Zack Ryder and said, if Vince isn't going to push me, I'm making a YouTube channel.
But that's not our first stop, because our first stop is a little bit juicier. So
it's a little more elite.
It's a little bit more freshly squeezed. We're going to be talking about AEW, and the first thing on the agenda is Orange Cassidy is all elite. Though I'm not quite sure how elite he is because he did put his contract into a blender.
That was such a perfect fucking announcement. And it made me think for a minute that there was actually a drink called an Orange Cassidy, and I was like, "Ooh, I want to try that." And then I was very disappointed to find out that nobody has probably somebody has made an Orange Cassidy drink, but it hasn't been popularized yet, so I can't go out and find it.
I'd imagine it'd be something like a screwdriver, but with more booze than a typical screwdriver.
Probably.
It's vodka with a dash of orange juice.
But no, this is very exciting, and I like how AEW kind of has like 4 divisions at the moment. Well, no, there's 5 divisions, I would say. There's the serious Wrestle Boys men's division, and then there's the kind of goofy comedy boys men's division. And then there's the tag division, and then there's the Brandy Rhodes promoting her friends from the indie scene North American women's division, and then there's the Kenny Omega's
Precious Little Waifus division.
Yeah, Kenny Omega's Joshi Spectacular, basically.
Here's the thing, they're not like divisions like 205 Live is a division of WWE and you never see them. It's more of like, these are the lanes, and everybody can move in between the lanes. But if you were going to be running on autopilot, this is the lanes they're going to be in.
It's very clear that everyone in the company, all the big founding members, the elite, they all have their own like pet projects, and none of them are interfering with each other too much, but they're interacting on a kind of good way.
Yeah. Orange Cassidy is very much a Young Bucks guy.
Yeah.
Like, so much so. But we'll get to him a little bit more later. But in the meantime, everybody who's kind of gearing up to be a full-time AEW member is wrapping up some of their stuff, including the Bucks, who played their final independent show against Private Party.
Yeah, it was a very cool little like mini documentary they did on being the elite, of them going back to it's been so long, so I've forgotten the name of the promotion, but like this indie promotion in
Beyond?
I think it was Beyond. It's like an indie promotion in New York that very much helped them make their name. They were the first tag champions there, and they kind of made that tag division known, and it was neat seeing them take on Private Party, and also talk about how like Private Party are guys who have come up for that promotion, and the Bucks really very clearly see Private Party as the next version of themselves, and they want to promote Private Party a whole lot, so they did a big exhibition match against Private Party to kind of say farewell to both this promotion and the indie scene.
Yeah. But it's sweet. It's nice. I know other people are kind of wrapping up big dates. I know Luchasaurus had to cancel one, but I think he has a couple others. Mm-hmm. So he's still running around out there. But like, yeah, things are wrapping up for them there. But AEW is going to be kicking up soon.
Oh yeah, we're a couple weeks out from TV as of this recording. I assume this is going to go up next Friday.
Oh yes.
So yeah, TV's starting in a couple weeks, and it's getting pretty exciting, but it's also a little bit bittersweet for certain people.
Oh yeah. But we had a little interview from the best friends before their battle against the Dark Order at All Out, and gave the Dark Order one of their best nicknames.
I barely remember this interview. I'm not huge into the best friends, so I'm going to kind of let you take this.
They just called them spooky perverts, and basically it was like, yeah, they're been attacking us. This is kind of weird and fucked up, and I don't like this. I don't like it. But we're best friends, so we're just going to work together and be buds.
Hey, good for them.
But
then
we had there's a little bit kerfuffle. I want to put the thing that's a little bit later into this whole thing. So Kenny Omega has been kind of going on this, essentially a losing streak since he's been coming to North America. Basically, he's out of his groove.
It's interesting because, did you see that meme that was going around Reddit the other day where it's like the big angry wolf and the golden retriever?
Yeah, I've been seeing those.
Somebody did a version of that was the big angry wolf as Kenny in New Japan and the golden retriever as Kenny in AEW. And that feels very true, but also I don't feel like it's a bad thing. It's kind of like they're saying Kenny kicked ass in Japan, yeah, but the American wrestling scene is kind of different from that, and he's maybe not as prepared as we all think he is, and so he's slipping up a lot, and he's making all these mistakes. He's organizing a big event that completely backfires, and he's losing his cool. Meanwhile, this other guy has left the biggest wrestling company in the West and gone on a tour de force of the indie scene and New Japan, Kenny's own stomping grounds, and has kind of just gone crazy, and that is Jon Moxley. And everybody's excited about Jon Moxley. He's now like one of the hottest stars in wrestling simply because of that appearance at the end of Double or Nothing and all the momentum he's gotten from it. And Kenny's a little bit incensed by that. He's going, I used to be the biggest name in pro wrestling, and Moxley, you're just going, I want to know what
you're the flavor of the week.
Yeah, you're some guy who got shit on at this big company, and now that you're back in the indies, you're going, I want to see what it's like to live a month in Kenny Omega's shoes, and you're not ready for it. You're not going to do too good. And
yeah, Kenny's been kind of on this tear. He's been having a little bit of a losing streak. He won against SEMA, but as Kenny Omega was cutting a promo against Jon Moxley to kind of set up their match at All Out, which was already announced, Kenny got some news that, well, an old injury of Jon Moxley's is starting to act up again, and he had to pull out.
Mm-hmm. Which, very interesting that they let Moxley himself announce that on Twitter. And because since he's come back to actually through his whole career, he's not been one to break kayfabe too much, but he was very, on Twitter being like, hey, this fucking sucks. I'm really upset that this happens, but there's nothing I can do about it. I've got to pull out. Hopefully we can try this again at some point.
Yeah, and to me it felt less kayfabe breaking and more like, no, genuinely Jon Moxley as a character would feel like this because he lives for the fight, and if he can't get the fight, it's like, well, this fucking blows. Mm-hmm. Fuck, I was looking forward to this as much as you guys were. Shit, yeah. But Kenny didn't see it that way. Kenny kind of went into Jon Moxley a little bit and was like, the fuck you doing, bro? You get out of this whole big situation. You wanted this big marquee match. And what do? You just go wrestle every day for like a month. And of course you get injured. What an idiot you are, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And
Kenny does kind of have a point.
Yeah.
But also he's being a bit of an ass. And he's getting a bit too tunnel visioned.
He's getting antsy.
Because his replacement, the replacement opponent for Kenny in the match, was Pac.
Bastard.
Yeah, the guy who we all thought was going to be a big star in All Out in AEW, but then had to pull out before Double or Nothing because of creative differences, is now just back.
Dragon Gate didn't want the champion losing. That's how they were booking him. And they were like, yeah, no, we understand. We're in different places right now. We'll get back to it eventually. And they're back to it now.
I guess he either isn't the champion anymore or they're just cool with it now.
Yeah, no, he's no longer the champion of Dragon Gate.
All right, so I guess he... and I can't remember, did he actually sign with AEW or did he just say like I'm gonna do some appearances?
I think he's in the I'm doing appearances. I have like a Brock Lesnar contract for this many matches.
Okay.
That kind of situation.
But Kenny found out that he wasn't facing Moxley, and he just went off on Moxley nonetheless. Like, he was already in the studio getting ready to record a promo, and he was like, no, I still want to do this. I still have a great angle here. But he completely ignored the fact that because at that point, Pac hadn't been announced, so at that point, he had no idea who he was facing next. He should have gone and trained and been like, I could be taking on anyone at this point.
Yeah.
And I love the way they announced Pac, too. Because, like, that BTE segment where the Bucks and Cody are just sitting in a conference room being like, fuck, what do we do now? Triple threat main event? No, that's a WWE move.
Yeah. That was nice. That was cool. But, like, it is just really interesting that they're taking, like, anything like that would derail a lesser group of creative people. But with a situation like this, they go like, oh, wait a second, we can do this to tell the story in this way and do this to extend it and do these character things.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's nice. It feels like they have an idea, they have a plan, but they're willing to kind of like bounce and bob and weave with it.
Because I imagine the original plan was to have Kenny lose to Moxley at All Out to put Moxley over even more. And they were just like, well, this is just a better opportunity to have him lose to a different person and extend the storyline out even more, because we can say he's focused on Moxley and he's not really got his head in the game because he's...
And then if he loses to Moxley, then he is just destroyed and distraught, and we can see where that character is.
Mm-hmm. Like, people are kind of saying, like, oh no, they're going to bury Kenny Omega, their biggest star, and I think... like, no, we're tearing him down so we can build him back up.
They're putting Kenny Omega in the place where he was when he joined the Bullet Club.
Mm-hmm.
But now he's not in a situation where he can join the Bullet Club. Where does this Kenny Omega go? That's the interesting thing. That's where they're going with this, which I find fascinating, and I am digging.
Yeah.
But speaking of breaking people down, Brandy explained why Cody will break and beat down Shawn Spears at All Out, and that was just a fire fucking promo.
Oh yeah, definitely the best episode of Road 2 since Cody's promo about beating fucking Dustin. Yeah. Like, I think it's clear that like just giving fire promos is just something that runs in your veins if you're a Rhodes family member, even if you're not a Rhodes family member by blood.
Yeah.
Like, I almost imagine like there's a job interview for Rhodes family members, but it's like the only requirement is you have to give a fire promo.
Oh man. Like, even like, Dustin gave fire promos during all the Road 2 stuff.
Yeah, and remember fucking like one of the greatest promos of all time, in my opinion, is Dusty Rhodes talking about hard times.
Oh, yeah.
That's a fucking classic. And the fact that we're still getting promos that good from his kids and this I don't... The way I'm wording this doesn't sound very nice, but I mean it in a nice way. This woman who has married into the family is just amazing. The fact that they're giving such good promos, like, just makes me love the Rhodes even more. I'll talk about this a bit more when we get to another big thing, but I'm kind of at a point now where, as far as wrestling goes, I stan the Rhodes family.
But yeah, great promo, really good. It's been really building up a really great feud that we'll get to it later, but I hope doesn't end.
Yeah, I love the bit where she's like, and you played all my favorite songs, and then runs down things that you see every day on like Twitter and Facebook from wrestling fans of like why Cody's just a one-trick pony and people only like him because he left because he gave WWE the middle finger.
Yeah, it's really great. They like people are going like, oh, the AEW shouldn't talk about WWE and shouldn't be like poking the bear and everything like that. They're doing it expertly of basically going like, no, this is a thing that exists. We're not poking the bear. We are just acknowledging that the bear is there.
And it works because it's already built into some of their characters. Like I said back when we did the episode about Double or Nothing, people complained about Cody smashing Triple H's throne, but like, have you listened to the lyrics to the dude's Fiend? Have you heard his story? Have you seen some of the interviews with him about what it was like for him to work with Triple H? Because we all love Triple H. He's NXT daddy. He's the coolest dude around. But he could be kind of a dick to some people backstage.
Here's the thing. Papa H, great dude. Triple H, fuckhead.
Good way to put it.
Yeah. Hunter Hearst Helmsley, who? But here's the thing, and people go like, "Oh, they're AEW is fucking attacking WWE. They're fucking going at them." It's like, no, Cody is.
Yeah.
No one else in AEW is going like, "Oh, fuck WWE." The only
it's not like Kenny's out here going, "Ha ha! I never needed WWE to get over. I did it in New Japan, and look at me now. I help run a major company."
The only people that are going like, "Fuck WWE" are Cody Rhodes, and it's basically like him going like, I'm free, and Jon Moxley going, I'm free, and the Young Bucks who just like to make jokes.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. No one else on that roster is going like, oh, WWE. It's like just
it's not like fucking SCU has come out and gone like, fuck Stone Cold Steve Austin for having an SCU shirt.
Yeah, no.
Even though they have all the rights to do that, in my opinion.
Yeah. And like, we'll get to it, but like, and so I've been watching interviews and keeping an eye on everything. Both of the companies seem to be very much like, yeah, no, we're rooting for them, they're rooting for us. This is kind of like, we see each other as equals in a way. Vince may be like, fuck these guys, fuck them.
Yeah, we'll talk about that when we get to the NXT thing.
But I watched the press end thing all out with the Young Bucks, and it was either the Young Bucks or Tony Khan. I can't remember which one, but someone asked, "How do you feel about this new Wednesday Night War? Now that NXT is going to be going head to head with AEW," and they basically said, "We don't see it as a war because you can just watch both shows. It's a nice romantic idea, and there's a kind of a cool heart behind it, but we are not. This is not the cutthroat industry that the '90s was. We are not."
You're talking about the post All Out Chris Van Vliet interview, right?
Yeah, I can't remember who they were interviewing, but
the Bucks.
Yeah,
I know Tony Khan said stuffing about it, but I remember the Bucks exactly said, yeah, we knew they were going to do stuffing. We were just waiting to see what it was. And now that we know what it is, we're just kind of like, okay, we're going to keep doing our thing. And hopefully you keep doing your thing. And hopefully both things are good.
Yeah. And I like that. I like that sentiment. I'm still going to call it the Wednesday Night War because it's just a good name. It rolls off the tongue.
Mm-hmm.
But I am going in with the spirit of like, especially because we'll get to it later. I think I'm going to be watching both.
Oh, I'm definitely watching both.
But yeah, but AEW is definitely pulling out all the cards on getting good shit going because noted commentator and great commentator, by the way, Tony Schiavone is all elite.
Yeah, I was pretty excited by this because Tony Schiavone is one of those guys that I've been told a lot of great things about, but I've never experienced any of his work. So I'm really excited to get to experience him through this new company.
Old school.
Go ahead.
No, you go.
He seems like a pretty cool dude. Like like the AEW Control Center segments on Road 2 are a little cheesy, but I think he's doing them rather well. And like the interview on Road 2 this like just today, I think that came out as of this recording, where he was interviewing Cody and being like, "Hey, are you ready for your match with Sammy Guevara on the first episode of TV?" And Cody goes, "Yeah. You want to comment? You want to do commentary on it with JR?" And he's like, "Yes, but I think that's up to you. You're the boss." And Cody kind of winks at the camera like, that shit's happening.
Yeah. I listened to some Tony Schiavone MLW. He's great there. He used to commentate on WCW back in the day. So
Nice.
so Cody is really just going full on, I want to bring back what my dad worked on.
Yeah.
He is going to mid-90s WCW right before everything went to shitter, and basically going, I want that spirit of wrestling alive again.
Which I think we can all agree is one of the best things anyone has ever said in wrestling.
Yeah.
Like, the more I find out about Cody and Dustin to a certain extent, the more I wish I was a good artist so I could recreate that political cartoon of Steve Irwin walking away from Bindi and what's his name, standing in these giant boots while Irwin's got no shoes on and going, "You'll grow into them," but with Dustin, Cody, and Dusty.
Yeah. Dustin is also signed on officially AEW as a wrestle coach.
Yeah, and he's already going, "I want to start a school." And I'm like, I want to go to your school. Teach me how to wrestle, please.
Here's the question. Is it going to be in Jacksonville or is it going to be in Chicago?
If it's in Jacksonville, I think it's pretty much confirmed that I will be at least trying to get on there, because I already have plans to move to Florida in the next couple of years.
But yeah. Should we just start talking about All Out?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, first things first. All Out, the buy-in, the AEW pre-show. We had 2 matches, and I can probably definitively say this has been the best buy-in AEW has done so far.
Yeah, it feels like they finally got it down.
Yeah.
So, Nyla Rose
won the Women's Casino Battle Royale. They still need to tweak, so they need to tweak that match still a little bit because there were some wrestlers that didn't get the pop they deserved.
I think literally they only need to change one thing. They have all the women in the group walk out as like a big group and they say their names one after the other. What they should do is woman walks out, announcer says, "Here comes this group." Woman walks out, announcer says her name and she poses. We cut back to the ring for a second. Woman walks out, announcer says her name and she poses. We'll have her rinse, repeat.
Here's the thing. I have a different kind of tweak I would make to the Casino Battle Royale. You do pretty much all the same setup. You draw a card, and that's your position in the Battle Royale. The difference is the first suite is in the ring. So the first 5 people, however many people are in the 5 people. Yeah, it's 5. And then on the screen, you get the next suite is this. And then say it's like hearts. So the one of hearts card shows up. And then the person's entrance happens. And then you start a timer for like the next 3 minutes. And then the 2 of hearts shows up. Then the 3 of hearts, then the 4 of hearts, then the 5, and then you get the next suite, and then you count down again, and then you get the final suite, you count down, then you get the Joker's Wild.
Yeah, that could work.
Basically, you keep the setup, and like you can even announce, "Oh, these people are in this suite," or this whatever, but it basically turns it into a Royal Rumble situation while keeping the gimmick.
Yeah, I'd like that.
And if
the match was pretty okay. I liked I liked getting to see B. Priestley do some stuff, and Britt Baker, and frickin' Brandy coming out with Aja Kong, or Awesome Kong, and just, like, giving battlefield instructions to her, like, go get her, go get her, go get her, I'm gonna stand over there. That was pretty funny.
Jazz looked really cool.
Yeah.
And, ODB was there. She's pretty dope.
And for as hyped as we were for her, Teal Piper, bit of a letdown. She didn't do bad, but she was a bit of a letdown.
She was a body.
She's clearly, like, very early in her stages of learning how to wrestle, and I think we kind of got, like, oh my god, she's been training forever, and she's probably done a couple indie shows, and now she's going to be in AEW, and it's going to be amazing, and now that I've seen this, I'm like, oh, she's probably not even signed, is she?
Yeah, no, she came on for an appearance, and it was a thing to go like, hey, she's here.
Yeah.
She did do a sleeper hold, which was Piper's move. So that was cool. But yeah, Nyla Rose wins, and the stipulation for this was the winner of the Casino Battle Royale would go on to be one of the first contestants for the Women's Championship, which looks really good.
Honestly, I like it more than the Men's Championship.
I can get that. It's more balanced.
Mm-hmm. It looks like a classic, like, Carney era belt, and it's got this really beautiful rose gold pattern that they kept talking about in all the interviews and stuff. And
because that's a classier way of saying we made the women's title pink.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like, no, it's rose gold. It's distinct from the men's title, which is just like traditional gold. They feel like they put thought and effort into it, and I like it. Some people were complaining it looks like a penny. Like one of those smush pennies.
I can kind of see that, but also I don't see how that's a complaint. It's a really unique design for a belt.
Plus, I think the design of that belt would just look great on any woman's waist and really accentuate the person.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, like, we have to address the elephant in the room. It's even though I would like the other contestant, who we'll talk about in a bit, to win the to be the first women's title winner. It's pretty obvious they're gonna go with Nyla Rose because A, AEW is making a big push for diversity. B, the show where she will be competing for it is in her hometown.
Yeah. And plus, she's really becoming kind of one of the major faces of the company.
Mm-hmm. Which is cool. I mean, like, I'm not super into her character just yet, but just the fact that they have a transgender women's wrestler who looks like a badass is pretty neat.
Looks like a badass and is feminine.
Mm-hmm.
Like she is a beautiful woman. I will say that.
Also, I'm gonna go ahead and quote Brian Zane here. If you're thinking of posting in our comments, haha, a man won a woman's match, get the fuck out.
No, we'll ban your fucking ass. Also, I didn't notice this. I didn't know this when I watched the match. Apparently, her ring gear was I can't remember. It's the tribe she's from. It's their flag. It's their flag's colors.
Oh, neat. Because I know she wore more like traditional Hollywood-looking Native American gear at an earlier AEW show, but
yeah,
I like that she's doing that. That seems like much more cool and like a subtle way to honor your heritage without being too overt in a way that's like making it clear for us stupid white people.
Yeah, I mean, her nickname is the Native Beast.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's a good nickname, though. But I'm excited for the rest of the women's division. Also, Mercedes, whatever her name is,
Mercedes Martinez.
Thank you. She was the Joker's Wild, and she did really cool. She was pretty dope.
I had not heard of her before, but she seemed pretty cool.
Yeah.
Also, the lady who usually accompanies Joey Janela to the ring was in this match, and I was really surprised that she was an actual wrestler and that she was a pretty good wrestler. I'd like to see her get a decent singles run in the future.
Nice. This is dope. That was dope. The next match of the buy-in, which I think really put it on top as a really good pre-show, was Angelico and Jack Evans versus Private Party.
Which was this was to get a buy-in for the
other one. The other one's a buy-in.
Okay.
This was just a tag team match.
Okay, but it was a damn good tag team match.
Oh, it was a fucking
like
coast to coast hot tag.
More than any match I have seen with these two so far, this put Private Party for me. This made me go like, okay, these guys are serious shit. It is a hardcore tie between them and another tag team we'll be talking about later for me to want them to be the first winners of the tag belts.
But dope flippy shit match between this group because they're all a bunch of flippy boys.
Mm-hmm.
But oh my god, some of the stuff that you get between this match, like I already said it just because it was so great, but that coast to coast hot tag.
Oh my god, dude, I lost it.
With Angelico like chasing after him, going like, "Oh no, I see what you're doing."
Mm-hmm. And I mean, people are gonna get onto us for constantly comparing AEW to WWE, but it's just kind of what we do here now, I guess. When was the last time you saw something that badass on a WWE pre-show? Actually, no, scratch that. When was the last time you saw a WWE pre-show?
Right? They're so skippable, and this was one of the best matches. You can't skip this.
Yeah, it was.
Really good. It ended with Private Party winning and basically doing a Hurricanrana cutter.
Yeah.
A Hurricanrana into like an RKO. It was fucking fantastic. Private Party won, and they're going like, oh yeah, okay, cool, shake hands, we're going to be respectful and all that. Private Party turns, and Angelico and Jack Evans turn as well.
Mm-hmm.
We got our first, I think, maybe official kind of heel turn.
Should be interesting.
Yeah. And I think they're leaning into them being bad guys because everybody hates their ring gear, and I dig that.
You dig that people hate their ring gear, or you dig their ring gear?
Both.
Okay, because I don't hate their ring gear, but it's just a color combo that I'm not into. I can deal with black and green, but neon green and black, ugh.
It sticks in my head, and it's very visually distinct. There is no other wrestlers that dress like that, and I can dig that.
Okay.
You know, it's the matter of distinctness and not the matter of taste.
Fair enough.
But it's really good. Still in the pre-show, we get a little promo for an upcoming wrestler, a new signee, a man named Wardlow.
Who is a big, beefy, EC3 looking motherfucker.
And honestly, all AEW needs a little bit more beef.
Mm-hmm.
They can use a couple more Hoss guys, and this guy looks fucking great. That promo is just fantastic.
Like, I normally don't like these completely disconnected from anything, just showing a guy being a badass promos, but this, like, really sold it to me of, like, because it starts off and him and his lady friend are just walking through a parking lot, and then you see these three or four jack-offs who are, like, catcalling his lady friend, and him and his lady friend just turn around, and she, like, sexily takes off his shirt, and they all come up to him one by one like it's a video game, and he just lays them the fuck out, and it's great.
Yeah, people were complaining about his name, but like, I think it's cool. It sounds like a menacing European name, which is dope.
It sounds like the big badass guy who's a dick to the main character in a prison breakout film.
Yeah, it's a good promo. I'm hyped for him. He seems really cool, but it's time for the main show and the worst town we've ever been in. SCU versus Jurassic Experience, otherwise known as Jurassic Express, otherwise known as a small boy, a boy, and his dinosaur.
Yeah, holy crap! Did I love this? I called it a repackaging at first, but it's more like just a finalization of what this unit is. And oh my god, I was so excited about it because SCU come out and they're doing their thing. They're being like, "This is the worst town we've ever been in, and we're here. We're gonna have a good show now, and it's great." And then fucking you hear stomp, and
I fucking love the Jurassic Park water cup on the fucking Titantron.
Yeah, and fucking I forgot his name, but Ring General turns around and he's got the most like pants to be darkened look you've ever seen as he looks up at the Titantron and realizes what's happening. And then Luchasaurus comes out and Jungle Boy is riding him as he usually does, but fucking Marco Stunt is just running around them screaming his head off. And I'm like, I officially love these three. This is great. They're the other group of the two groups I'd really like to see to be the first winners of the tag titles.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. Here's the thing. They're going to be the first people to be Make-A-Wish ambassadors for All Elite Wrestling.
Oh, definitely.
They're going to be the first ones requested.
I mean, Jungle Boy is just like a nice little comedy character who can do some cool stuff in the ring. Luchasaurus is this big, badass, beefy-looking motherfucker who's got this gimmick of, I'm a friendly, intellectual dinosaur boy, but when I get in the ring, be fucking aware because that hot tag, bro.
Man. And I didn't see anybody complain about it, but I could see people could complain about it being a little slow, but it fit so well and he wasn't kicking people. He was pushing them with his foot.
It felt like what I feel like people were supposed to get from Shoka Nakazaki, I think is how you say her name, at Fight for the Fallen, because people were complaining, oh, she's too slow. And I'm like, she's supposed to be a kaiju. They're supposed to be slow and look big, badass, and powerful. But because she's a small girl, people didn't really get it. But Luchasaurus is a fucking giant, so people got it.
He's a big boy.
Mm-hmm. And then Marco Stunt just runs around and does a bunch of flippy shit, and then fucking Fortnite dances.
Fucking shit.
So obviously kids are gonna love him.
Oh yeah, especially because he looks like them.
Mm-hmm.
But this was a great match.
I think he's our age, but he looks like he's 12.
Yeah. There was a great moment where Jungle Boy put Marco Stunt on one of their shoulders, and then both Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus just spun Marco Stunt, and Marco Stunt did a spinning DDT with him.
Mm-hmm.
That was so good.
Was that what was the spot at the end where they did a double pile driver?
Oh yeah, no, I can't. That was so good. That was good too.
That was good, but it was also pretty scary. That's the thing I like about AEW is there's so many amazing spots, but they're also kind of scary.
Yeah.
The match ends, and somebody from SCU covers Jungle Boy, I think it was, and then immediately you see Christopher Daniels, I've remembered his name now, he runs up to Jungle Boy and Marco Stunt and is like, are you guys okay? That looked really scary. Are you all right? Are you all right? And they're like, yeah, we're fine. And then they hug Christopher Daniels and Scorpio Sky, and it's like, ah.
Yeah, we're all, it's sportsmanship. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
And that was great. That was just a fun, good opening match. And then we got a surprise match for the next one. Kenny Omega versus Pac in the second position.
Yeah, it's very clear that because Moxley had to pull out, they moved this straight to the front because they knew people were going to be disappointed.
Also, because I think because they moved this, the rest of the card kind of got a little fucky.
Mm.
And I've been seeing that people go the card feels like it's in the wrong order, and I can understand that. I'm fine with the way it is, but yeah, you can make some tweaks.
Yeah. And this match was pretty good. It wasn't the best Kenny match I've ever seen, but it was a solid match, and Pac looked like a badass because he won.
Pac looked like a bastard. But of course it's not the best Kenny match because he's not on his game, which is the story that they were talking about the whole time.
Yeah, I like how commentary was like, yeah, Kenny Omega on a bit of a losing streak right now. And he used to be known about as the best bout machine, but that's kind of in question now. And, oh, he's not doing too well. He might be a bit too focused on Moxley. Oh, he lost to a fucking sleeper hold. He's probably way too focused on Moxley.
It wasn't necessarily a sleeper hold. It was a specific hold called the Brutalizer, which is a standing rings of Saturn.
Yeah, that's right. It's been a few weeks, so I'm a little hazy on how exactly things went down.
Yep. But still a solid match, really great storytelling. Got some big moves in there. One very scary one where Pac basically did a superflex to the outside, but the barriers are a little too close to the ring, and he clipped his fucking shins.
Mm-hmm.
You could hear a ding.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh shit, fuck. I bet dollars to donuts are going to make those a little bit farther away from now on.
Mm-hmm.
But next we have the Cracker Barrel Clash. Joey Janela versus Darby Allin versus Jimmy Havoc. Two goths and a jock. Fight it out for our entertainment.
So, between this and the Moxley match at Fyter Fest, I think I'm officially a deathmatch guy. I loved this so fucking much. I was so ready to be like, this is match of the night for me. Because there's just so much crazy stuff going on, so much characterful stuff going on, incredible spots, really good work with the props they had. The only problem I had with this is they show that big tin of biscuits at the start, and I went, oh, there's going to be a spot where two dudes are slugging it out like crazy, and then the third dude comes in from like the other side of the camera and starts pelting them with biscuits like they're snowballs. That never happened. I was a little disappointed that never happened.
But someone did get dinged with the pan.
Yeah, so just a minor nitpick. But other than that, this match was really fun.
They also destroyed both Cracker Barrels.
Mm-hmm. And fucking Jimmy Havoc got taped to a chair, and his mouth was taped shut with tacks in it.
Oh god.
Oh,
also, Darby Allin put thumbtacks on the bottom of his skateboard, and he did a fucking caveman on fucking Joey Janela.
I believe in skating they call that an ollie.
No, that's a caveman.
Okay.
I played enough Tony Hawk to know what I'm talking about.
And I love the spot where Joey Janela's digging out for some. I love that they threw around the term plunder when people were digging under the ring in this, because like that's a Dusty thing, and the fact that we're just getting so many Dustyisms in AEW makes me happy, because he was the first wrestler I called my favorite wrestler of all time. So,
hell, later on we get a bicycle.
Mm-hmm. And fucking like Joey Janela digging under the ring and pulling out a tennis racket and then throwing it away as a shot at Jim Cornette. Oh my god.
I cannot wait because here's the thing, I don't expect it to happen, but if it does, oh my god, that'd be the best day ever. The Revival leave WWE, their contracts are up. They come into AEW, and they have one person. You just hear a voice, and it goes, "Now hold on," and Jim Cornette follows them out, and it's like, oh shit, that would be dope.
Oh, I would lose it over that. Like, I'm not the biggest Jim Cornette guy, but that would just be so perfect.
Old school tag team guy with an old school tag team, like going up against the new guard with the Young Bucks.
Mm-hmm.
That
also, we need to mention in this match, there was a crowd shot during one of the entrances, and somebody had a sign up that was a meme from Reddit of the Graveyard Dogs and Vince looking at it and going, good shit.
Good shit.
Literally a direct jab at WWE made it into an AEW pay-per-view. And not like, oh, somebody happened to hold it up while the crowd was in the background of a shot of people fighting in the ring. No, they deliberately cut to that. And I just lost it.
Oh, man. Also, it's just weird how Cracker Barrel is just promoting all the death matches.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just how did they get that advertising? It's like, hey, would you like to advertise during our would you like to sponsor one of the matches for our pay-per-view? It's like, yeah, sure. You always promote us on being the elite. You've been really good. You've been good promotion for us. Dope. You want to be associated with people bleeding in thumbtacks?
Hell yeah!
This is fucking great. I love it. I can't imagine any of WWE's advertisers ever doing something like that.
Mm-hmm. And you gotta love Jim Ross and fucking Excalibur on commentary. Just every 5 seconds going, yeah, Cracker Barrel's great. It's good every time you go. And I'm like, yeah, I know, guys. Cracker Barrel's so good. I eat there all the time.
Cracker Barrel. But we have another match coming up. The Best Friends versus the Dark Order. Whoever wins this gets a first round buy-in for the tag team tournament, which is going to be starting the second episode of AEW.
I thought it was the first one.
I don't know. It's either first or second. It's coming soon. Tag team tournament to decide who is the first tag team champions.
But yeah, the Dark Order came out and they're not getting over, are they?
No. I like them. I'm digging them.
Same.
I get it.
But I think we're like 2 out of maybe 5 people who like them and are getting it.
They are old school, kooky, carny, evil people.
Mm-hmm.
Like what? Like that's what they are. Look at his high pants. Those are carny high pants.
I mean, come on. They're spooky perverts. What else do you need to know?
Hey, they did get a spooky perverts chant.
Yeah. Which, honestly, I kind of felt like the crowd was just trying to entertain itself and they remembered that was a thing.
Yeah.
But
it was a good match. It was a good, like, psychological match. It was less, like, flippy-dippy, punchy shit and more of, like, the Dark Order is trying to manipulate and dismantle the Best Friends.
Yeah, it was cool. It just... The crowd did not care that much.
No.
Until...
I'm Porky Pig, apparently. That might also be because it came right after this big rigmarole of the Cracker Barrel crash.
That's fair.
They may just be A, really tired, and B, not getting the Dark Order, so what could have been a little bit more energy was just gone. It was complete.
Yeah.
But at the end, the Dark Order won, so they get the first round buy-in. I have a feeling they're going to do a lot better on the TV show because they'll have more time to play their characters.
Mm-hmm. And then they started doing a little bit of a callback to All In, where they start dragging a certain boy off.
They tried to drag Trent away, but the lights go out. Oh no, who could it be? The lights come up.
It's Orange Cassidy.
Oh man, and he hands in pockets, does tope suicida, gets back in the ring, and then just does a kip up, hands always in his pockets, and the crowd goes wild.
The crowd fucking lost it, and I did too. Because nobody knew how they were going to use Orange Cassidy. Because everybody's seen his indie matches. Everybody knows how Orange Cassidy works in singles. And so we were like, well, AEW singles stuff is pretty serious, though. How are they going to insert him into that? Answer, they aren't. He's the third member of Best Friends.
And he's the best friend that, like, just gets dragged along to everything. It's going like, okay, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And because the best friends, they do their hug thing, and they just have Orange Cassidy in the middle, and he's just doing nothing.
Yeah, he's just like, I am also here.
Oh man, did you see his very in-depth Chris Van Vliet interview?
Oh yeah, it was really amazing just seeing Vliet pick his brain and really delve into the character and get to figure out all the amazing motivations that have driven him over the years, and I'm so excited to see where he goes from here.
I mean, Orange Cassidy's such a chatterbox. A lot of information we never knew before.
Mm-hmm.
It was just great interview.
Yeah, Chris Van Vliet, dude, deserves a Pulitzer for that.
Oh yeah, no, it is probably, it can go down as one of the best interviews of the century.
Mm-hmm. Barbara Walters, eat your heart out.
Do we want to explain the joke for anybody who never saw it?
No, cut you even asking that.
But Orange Cassidy, fucking grand. Next, we have a match to decide the other person for the qualifying match for the women's title. Hikaru Shida versus Riho.
Mm-hmm. Very badass, sort of Chinese martial arts lady versus Kenny Omega's Dadaru.
Yeah, Dadaru.
Mm-hmm. And the Dadaru won. Good for her.
Yeah. It was a hard hitting Joshi match. Lots of knees. There was a couple Boston Crabs. Very,
very fun. And I hadn't seen any Hikaru Shida before, and she seems pretty badass. I almost wanted her to win at one point, but I'm happy Riho won. You know, she's had a lot of build so far, and seeing her be one of the first contenders for the title is pretty cool. And honestly, she's my personal favorite to win, but smart money is on Nyla Rose, and I won't be mad if Nyla Rose wins.
That's going to be a fucking match, though.
Mm-hmm. Because it's this tiny little acrobat versus big fucking Haas.
Yeah. A 90-pound acrobat.
Mm-hmm. Who's been wrestling since she was 9 years old. Oh my god, can I marry you?
Man. But it was a good match, great match, pretty good. The next thing we had was a blow-off match between Sean Spears with his manager, Tully Blanchard, and Cody Rhodes with his accompaniment, MJF.
Protege.
Accompaniment protege, MJF.
Match of the night.
Oh, it's
match of the night!
It was up there.
It's so damn good.
It's a full-on 80s match, but with modern work rate.
Mm-hmm. Oh my!
It was
and this match kind of got overshadowed a bit by what happened with the pyro, because Cody comes out and he has like this really badass raised up and like a choir is singing entrance, and then his theme hits and the Nightmare Family walks out from stage right.
The only bad part about that whole thing is the fact that they're in dumb, shitty Star Trek cosplay.
Yeah. They're wearing Star Trek cosplay, which I understand it. I'm a big fan too. May the Force be with all of you. But it doesn't fit quite well with this match.
Yeah.
It's a bit of an odd choice. And I remember when I saw the buy-in interview with MJF, I was like, is he wearing a fucking Star Trek shirt? What's up with that? And then I realized everybody was wearing it, and I was like, okay, cool idea, but it doesn't work with this match. B, I wish you had waited until you could have had Dustin there as well.
To have Dustin up as a fucking Klingon.
Yeah. And then he comes out with the Nightmare Family, and Brandy's of course walking Pharaoh, and the pyro comes off, and Pharaoh gets scared shitless. That did not make a lot of dog owners happy, myself included. I was like, apparently, I love you, but that was a bad choice.
Apparently the pyro wasn't supposed to go off at that point in time.
Yeah.
But yeah, dumb move to even have pyro at that possible moment.
And apparently Brandy told him as much backstage. Like, she was very adamantly against bringing Pharaoh out when Pyro was even going to be involved. And Cody talked her into it. And then after the match, she came up to him as he came backstage and was like, "Hey, honey, great match. Don't you ever fucking do that to Pharaoh again."
Yeah, even Tony Khan was pissed at him.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. We're not getting a guy who's put the crown on himself. He's going like, "Yep, nope, you're right. I fucked up."
Mm-hmm.
And he said as such.
But other than that, this match was great.
Oh, yeah. Sean Spears' entrance was fucking fantastic.
I went from like, yeah, Sean Spears, good AEW main rival for Cody.
Makes a good hand.
Mm-hmm. To, oh my god, it's a young Randy Orton. I'm so excited for this.
He is fucking brutal and vicious. But it's so good. Man, Tully fucking played the manager role perfectly. MJF was fucking headstrong and didn't know how to fucking cheat for Cody at all.
I love how characterful those choices were, because you've got Tully Blanchard there just basically manipulating Sean, who was already mad at Cody, and trying to get a few licks in here and there because just fuck this family, I guess. And then you have Cody, who was told he could only pick one member of the Nightmare family to have at ringside. And I dead-ass thought it was going to be Brandy. I was like, he's picking Brandy because she'll also be able to bring Pharaoh, and that means we can get a spot where Pharaoh attacks Tully Blanchard. But also she cut that fire promo, so she's clearly set up to be the ringside accompaniment. But then he picks MJF. And people have been talking about the whole MJF thing with Cody, like, it's a very weird pairing. Like, I know he's his mentor backstage, but it doesn't make a lot of sense because Cody's such a babyface and MJF is a hardcore classic heel. And honestly, after this match, I realized that it makes perfect sense, because I'll tell you what's happening here. Cody is that executive who's middle-aged and is keeping this young, hot kid around because he makes him feel young. And yeah, he says some kind of off-color, kind of not so good for the company shit from time to time, but, you know, he's a young kid. He'll learn, and I mean, he hasn't said anything that's made all of social media come after us yet, so there's no real reason I should take any action on this. And that is I guarantee you that's eventually going to come back to bite Cody. MJF is gonna hardcore turn heel on Cody at some point.
You know what? I'd much rather MJF never turn on Cody. I much prefer this MJF that's like, he is a dick to everyone else, but he is sincere when it comes to Cody and respects him. I find that a fascinating character trait.
They could go either way, but I definitely think that is a valid interpretation of it.
But also, we got fucking Tully Blanchard and MJF squaring off, which was something I never knew I needed.
Tully Blanchard nearly threw hands with a 13-year-old.
Yep. But everything was getting wild and chaotic. And who comes out but the Enforcer? The one.
Double fucking A.
Arn fucking Anderson comes in like a storm. Tully's going like, what the fuck are you doing here, Arn?
And he just spine busters the shit out of Sean Spears.
I knew that the most legendary spine buster was an Arn Anderson spine buster. And I always accepted, I would never see an Arn Anderson spine buster truly live in the flesh. We saw an Arn Anderson spine buster.
So
this is something.
I popped extra hard for that too, because like, he's one of the few wrestlers I've met in person. He was at the SC Comic Con a few months ago, and I didn't really know much about him except for he's he's famous for his spine buster, and he's part of the Four Horsemen, and also he had literally been fired by WWE 2 weeks before that.
Yeah.
So I kind of went up to him just to say, hey, nice to meet you. I'm a fan of wrestling. I'm sorry you lost your job. I hope you find some good employment in the future. Best of luck, kind of a thing. And he was like, oh, thank you. And so when he came out and like they announced on Twitter pretty quickly, yeah, he signed. He's a trainer for us. I lost it. I was just like, it's the boy. He's okay. He's got a job and he's gonna do good things in the world.
But Tully is fucking flabbergasted, going like, "What the fuck just happened?"
And
he follows
him backstage, which allows Cody to get the win.
Yeah, but also allows Tully and Sean Spears to be assholes and go like, "You had an extra person in your corner. That's against the contract. We deserve a rematch."
Mm-hmm. And you know that's going to happen at some point. I would personally like to think it's going to happen after a certain thing that is already scheduled to happen, but we'll talk about that a little later.
You know what I would like to happen? The match that's announced goes on. The ending, which I assume was going to happen, and then Sean Spears pops out, and Cody's just going like, fuck!
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what I'm thinking, too.
Yeah. I don't want him to interfere. I just want him to pop up after.
Yeah. Let's just talk about it. Cody has a shot. Cody is confirmed to have a shot at the title at the next pay-per-view, which we'll talk about in a minute. And I'd be willing to bet he's going to win just because he has such a good singles record so far. And that's the thing is people are going like, oh, the COO or whatever the fuck he is, he's just getting a title shot all of a sudden. AEW said from the beginning, they're about wins and losses. Wins and losses matter here. Cody has one of the best singles records there is. Of course he's going to be first in line for a title shot.
Honestly, I don't think he's going to win. I think he's going to lose.
See, I would not be surprised if he loses because establishing the belt as like a big prestige thing. But I kind of want him to win, and then for Sean Spears and Tully Blanchard to come out like shit hit heels and go, okay, we want a shot at the belt now. We deserve a shot. We deserve a rematch, and why not make it for the title?
Yeah, I just think it would legitimize Chris Jericho, and then you could have another great person come after the belt.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think have Cody go for it. Maybe have another person who's been doing really good or like who's a fan favorite. Like, I don't know. Say someone like Luchasaurus?
Ooh. Luchasaurus in singles. I'd be up with that.
Yeah. But speaking of singles and tag teams, we had for the AAA tag team title belts.
Appearing for the last time in AEW.
Yep, because hey, they have their own titles now. This was kind of a stopgap to make this whole little feud mean something. The Young Bucks versus Lucha Brothers in a ladder match.
The Escalera de la Muerte.
Oh boy, this was a fuck fest in the best possible way.
This felt like getting to see the Hardys in their prime again.
Oh yeah, they won ladder matches somehow. In the words of Wrestle Talk, ladder matches are now over.
Yeah,
that's it. That's a season finale.
That was incredible. Like just some of the most insane flippy shit you've ever seen in your life. Like one of the Jacksons running at a ladder and then jumping and somehow hitting the rungs perfectly with his feet and catapulting himself out of the ring onto one of the Lucha Bros. The spot where both a Lucha Bro and a Young Buck are at the top of a ladder on either side of the ring and they're daring each other to flip off the ladder onto their opposite siblings. The spot where I think it was Matt and Pentagon were like jumping back and forth between the middle of a ladder trying to get each other.
Just so many. Like, there was one bad spot where one of the Jacksons was falling into the outside onto two tables, but his foot caught the top rope.
Ooh, that was scary.
Oh yeah, no, that was not
again,
fun.
That's a thing I like about AEW is they're doing all these incredible spots, and occasionally you'll have a scary moment here or two that makes you fear for the athlete, but it brings that spirit of like, yeah, wrestling is a performance, but it's a pretty fucking dangerous performance.
Yep. This is one of the best, and you mentioned it was all very much like, fuck you, I dare you to fucking do this with me. And it really shows kind of like a weird competitive rivalry between them. They're friends in that way.
And it just goes to show how amazing this match is and how realistic it felt, that when the Bucks said in their backstage interview and on Being the Elite the next week, immediately when they came backstage, their phones were just exploding with notifications of people on Twitter going like, "Are you all right?" And their wives going, "Are you all right?" And their moms going, "Are you all right?"
Their mom.
Yeah, sorry. I was stuck on portals for a second there.
Oh man, but it was so good. And I can understand why people said it should have been the main event. Fuck that. We'll get to it.
And then the Lucha Brothers won. They retained the AAA tag team titles, and they're probably going to take them back to Mexico and lose them before AEW TV begins, because I'm pretty sure the Lucha Bros are signed with AEW, right?
Yeah, but AEW also has a little deal with a AAA.
Oh, okay.
So I don't think they're gonna lose them, but like, they're floating around.
Okay.
I don't think they're ever gonna be really mentioned in AEW again, unless they want to go like, oh yeah, by the way, the Lucha Brothers were formerly AAA Tag Team Title champions.
Yeah, they're not gonna be a big deal again.
It'll be mentioned when they want to make someone seem like a big deal. Less, these are important to us, and more like these were important. Like, these are important in other places, just not here.
And then, some boys showed up
in some presidential masks.
And I'm gonna go ahead and admit, because of a certain hype element that was surrounding the show, I did not notice the second boy for a minute there. And when I saw the first boy, I went, "Oh my god, CM Punk! He's gonna be in the tag team division! What's happening?" But no, it's Santana and Ortiz, the former LAX of Impact Wrestling, who can't be called LAX anymore, and so are just going by Santana and Ortiz.
I fucking love the question when they asked that question to Tony Khan. It said, "Are they going to be called LAX here?" And they go, "They are Santana and Ortiz. That we are very excited for Santana and Ortiz to be here."
Yeah, I think he even said something like, "I don't know what LAX is, but Santana and Ortiz are cool."
Like, okay, we get it, bud. We got it. But then then fucking the Young Bucks fucked that up and went like, we don't know what the whole deal is yet, but they're here, I guess.
Yeah. And they're probably going to be kind of a big deal, because I hear they dominated a good bit in Impact. I don't know. I don't know anything about Impact outside the Broken Hardy saga. I'm a fucking scrub when it comes to that company.
A few things. WWE was also heavily courting them as well.
Oh.
So they're not just AEW guys. WWE wanted them as well. So that's a little feather in their cap.
So it's the same kind of thing as like the Bucks and Kenny almost going to WWE and then getting the call from Tony Khan.
Yeah. Also, there's a rumor going around that Impact might try and buy Ring of Honor.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the thing. Just wanted to mention it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that was fucking dope. The tag team scene is the most stacked thing ever. Yeah,
it like, I think a lot of us kind of just went, oh, okay, when the Bucks said at the press conference, for the two of us, the mission statement is to build the best tag team division in the world. But at this point, I'm pretty much on board with it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great. But we do have the knowledge of our next pay-per-view, Full Gear, which Little awkward name. I can dig it, but like, it takes a second.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's for November 9th in Boston.
Gonna be a bit of a thing.
Yeah.
We'll
know more once they start announcing.
Besides the name, date, and location, but it's that's certainly Hangman's catchphrase or gimmick or whatever you call it.
It was when he was like a little bit chubby and he was trying to lose weight and be like full gear. Like, it's weird. We'll get more excited the more we know about the card.
Yeah.
But speaking of the Hangman Adam Page versus the one, the only, the Judas, Chris Jericho.
For the main event.
For the first world title match. This was a great match.
This was a really good fucking match. And like... So, again, I feel like we need to talk about entrances here because... Hangman, that fucking crazy son of a bitch, he went and did it. He came to the ring on a horse.
On a horse. And this time they didn't have Pyro near the animal.
Mm-hmm. And I love how on BTE, you find out that he didn't even tell anyone. He just showed up to the arena with somebody's, with some rancher and a trailer with 2 horses in it. And he goes up to the box and he's just like, yeah, so the other day I went and had a day off. I did some real cowboy shit and I went and got myself a horse. Can I ride it to the ring? And Nick Jackson is just like, all right, I'll sign off on it because why wouldn't I if you already have the horse here?
Yeah, that definitely feels like that's going to be like not a gimmick, but like part of the atmosphere of AEW. Cody's a serious business guy. Kenny Omega, pretty serious. Tony Khan, pretty serious. You want to get dumb shit approved? Go to the Jacksons.
Yeah. And fucking Hangman Pox, or Hangman Pac, that's a ship name. Hangman Page said on his Facebook, the horse's name in kayfabe is Hunter Horse Helmsley.
Like, and
ladies and gentlemen, I officially stan Triple H.
And when Triple H, like, someone had to fucking show Triple H that, and he probably was like, that's fucking good.
Yeah.
That's fucking good.
And I'll admit, like, the entrance was a touch awkward because they kind of slowly led the horse to the ring instead of having it trot up. But, like, it's in a huge, crowded, loud-ass arena. They kind of have to make the horse go slow or it'll freak the fuck out. Like, I don't know if you've ever been on a horse before, but I have, and they are really timid, tetchy animals.
Yep. But then Chris Jericho came out, and he did his entrance. His normal entrance.
Yep. I thought he was going to do the double or nothing thing again, but he just did a simple, like, blasting Judas walking to the ring, and it worked. Like, it really worked. Like,
especially because
it felt like he was going, ugh, this kid's got a fucking horse. He's trying to impress anybody. What a stupid little twerp. I'm just going to walk to the ring. My theme song's awesome. That's all I need. And I'll admit, I did sing along.
I'm focused on winning. Yeah. Fuck anything else.
And I'll admit, I totally bought into it. I sang along to Judas as he walked to the ring.
But
which is not something I do too often.
This is another great, like, psychological match because it was just beating each other to a pulp.
Yeah. And just so many good spots. Like, I like how they had this nice balance of, like, classic grapples and shit, and then, like, a few flippy spots here and there. And it was more so Hangman that was initiating them, so it's very clear, like, he's this young kid who's trying to be super impressive and show off because he thinks he has this in the bag because he's the younger one. But Jericho's just kind of biding his time and waiting for the perfect moment to unleash the Judas effect. And then he fucking does it and instantly puts Hangman out and wins.
Give all the shit you want to Chris Jericho. He got a fucking backwards elbow over.
Yeah.
Like, fuck.
And he's the first AEW World Champion.
Already off to a prestigious run.
And it does kind of break kayfabe a little, but I loved that the moment got to him, and you actually saw him smiling and tearing up when they gave him the belt.
Yeah.
That was like, yeah, man. It's like things were finally made good for you. You were kind of screwed over in WCW by Dusty, and then you were well liked, but generally kind of played around in WWE. But now here in AEW,
got a couple good title runs, but nothing like huge.
Mm-hmm. And you did okay in Japan. A lot of people liked you there, but it's not your best known stuff. But now here in AEW, you got kind of a fresh start, and Dusty's son is making good for you. He made you the first, I'm sure Tony Khan and Kenny Omega were also involved in the decision, but it ties back into that Road to Double or Nothing segment where Jericho came to the offices and was like, your dad screwed me over back in WCW, and that's why I want to thank you, because I shouldn't have signed with you guys, but I did because I have star power, and you should be thanking me for that, bringing all this attention to your company. And in a way, it's like, yeah, Cody probably said we should put the belt on Jericho. He deserves it.
Yeah.
And, I saw a few people after All Out saying on a wrestling Facebook group I'm in that, this is AEW doing the same shit WWE does with Brock Lesnar, but people are okay with it. I disagree, because Brock Lesnar is just there and just wins because Vince says so. He just holds on to the belt and doesn't do anything other than hold on to the belt. Jericho has been in other matches. He has done promos. He has been all over, not just AEW, but he's also still doing shit in New Japan. And he's got a fucking character. Brock is just a big muscle man with a pretty charismatic manager. Jericho is one of the most interesting wrestlers out there right now, and it's because he's got all of this history spread throughout all these other companies that is now paying off in AEW.
Yeah.
Making him the first champion makes sense. Yes, I would have liked to see Paige instead. Yes, I think Paige would have been the more on-brand choice, because AEW is this new up-and-coming company. Here's this new up-and-coming hotshot who is more a product of our design. But making Jericho the first champion makes sense. And I think it's already paying off really well for them. And I don't know. I can't wait to see where things go with him from here.
Yep. And then we got the meme of the week.
Yep. Because there was a post show on YouTube, and Jericho went backstage and basically cut a promo going like, yep, nobody's saying thank you to me. Still, even though there was a chant out there, all you fuckers backstage, you're just in stunned silence because nobody thought I would win. Y'all thought Hangman was going to give it to me, but here I am, your first champion. What do you think of that, Bucky boys? Yeah, that's right, nothing. And I'm going to go in the back here. Fuck all you. I'm going to have my own little celebration. Here's this random fucking office worker. I'm going to spray fucking champagne all over him and celebrate and be happy because I'm totally not lonely and depressed after betraying everybody over all these years. Shut up. Little bit of the bubbly. Am I right?
It's a good segment. Great segment. Also, Brian Pillman Jr. was backstage. I don't think he's signing with AEW, but he was backstage, and that's cool.
Yeah. And then Pac went to do like a Chris Van Vliet press conference post show thing. What is it with me and mixing those two up? Like I can keep them straight when we're not podcasting, but when we do this fucking show, I keep mixing them up.
I don't know.
I should just refer to him as Hangman from now on. Hangman.
I mean, it is also 2 a.m.
That's fair. Hangman did a press conference and was like, I really don't know what to say. I thought I was going to win. I didn't prepare for anything for if I lose. I'm just kind of in shock right now. And then Pac comes up and goes, "Hey, you little bitch. Guess why I came to AEW? I'm not done with you yet. Bye."
Fight me.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. But that's kind of all for All Out. So with Double or Nothing, Fight for the Fallen, Fyter Fest, and now All Out, we now have 4 pay-per-views for AEW kind of under the wraps.
Well, 2 pay-per-views and 2 live shows.
Yeah, they're like B-show pay-per-views.
Mm-hmm.
They're like WWE's Hell in a Cell, TLC.
Yeah.
Well, All Out and Double or Nothing kind of like SummerSlam and Survivor Series kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So, with those under their belt and us watching them, where do you think All Out kind of ranks?
All Out's the best one so far. I feel like they finally got their pay-per-view format down. The card definitely could have been slightly better organized, but like all the matches were pretty good. It's just occasionally the crowd wasn't too into something because they were just really into something else.
And they were dead, they were tired. And there's definitely a lot of stuff that I feel like will work better on TV when people can see it on a regular basis rather than, oh, here's once a month and you see it and you don't get it unless you watch fucking Road 2.
Yeah.
So having a TV show will definitely help things like The Dark Order, Jack Evans and then Helico. Like, they're over, but they're not like over. There's a bunch of little things like that. I think the TV show is going to help. But yeah, All Out's one of the best.
Mm-hmm. Like, I loved Double or Nothing, but a lot of the stuff on here kind of puts it just over Double or Nothing for me.
Yeah, and plus Double or Nothing had a little bit of clunk in it. They've worked out pretty much, I'd say 95% of their technical bugs.
Yeah, these 4 shows really did their job of like letting them showcase what they can do while they also work out what they can do in time for TV.
Oh yeah, and that's fast approaching.
Can't wait.
But TV is going to be a problem. Well, would have been a problem if they hadn't found the fact that Chris Jericho lost the title 24 hours after he won it.
Yep, he flew to Florida and went from the airport straight to an Outback Steakhouse to get some dinner.
Longhorn,
yeah, that's right. And while he was... I'll explain why I said Outback in a second. While he was in there getting dinner, somebody just fucking stole the belt out of his limousine.
No. There's a working theory on what happened because they found the belt on the middle of the highway.
What?
Yeah.
I heard they found the belt, but I didn't hear that.
It was on the side of a highway because this is the working theory. Chris Jericho got off the plane, got into a limo, and went to Longhorn Steakhouse, but he grabbed the wrong luggage. So the limo driver was like, oh shit, this fucked up. And he went to the airport to basically get Jericho's luggage. As he was getting everything out, he put the title belt on top of the limo, forgot it, put the luggage in the limo, drove back to the Longhorn, and the title fell off the limousine as he was driving down the highway. Oh,
if that's what happened, that's amazing.
Like I said, it is the most carny shit ever.
Oh, it just takes you straight back to the territory days, and I love it.
Oh my god. And everybody...
Like, people were making jokes like, oh my god, this totally devalues that belt that they just tried to build up. And I'm like, no, if anything, this puts so many more eyes on it. That makes it super interesting, especially because at the beginning, like I said, we all thought it had gotten stolen right out of his limo. And we were like, oh my god, some fucking crazy fan took it. So,
oh man. And also there's like things like it adds an air of mystery behind it because it's like, oh, wait a second, this title did what?
Mm-hmm.
That's weird. It already has a history. It already
that's fucking on Wikipedia forever now.
Yeah, like.
And just the reactions on Twitter were so good. Like, I can't remember who it was, but somebody on the roster posted, if Jericho had just been a company man and went to Cracker Barrel, this would never have happened. And then fucking Cody going out and just saying, I, for one, prefer Outback Steakhouse.
Oh, God.
So good.
Like, Chris, like, everybody shed on Chris Jericho, and you know damn well he was like, yeah, these are fucking hilarious, and I kind of deserve it.
And I like how the company didn't ignore it, too. Like, Jericho went home, got in his hot tub, and cut a promo about how he was launching an investigation, and then posted it to the AEW YouTube channel.
I am going to have private investigators all around the world searching for it. With a little bit of the bubbly.
I'm going to sit here in my hot tub and drink the bubbly.
The bubbly.
The bubbly.
The bubbly.
Bubbly.
Oh, man. Someone did a fucking edit of that Bubbly Buble commercial with Michael Bublé.
Nice.
And they just replaced one of the ways to say it with bubbly. It was fucking fantastic. Chef kiss.
And then,
but yeah,
find it, and Jericho cut a promo saying like it's not going anywhere ever again. And this is just a really exciting week and a half to be a wrestling fan, honestly.
I really want to see like a picture of Chris Jericho buying groceries and just has the AEW belt around him so he never loses it again.
Yes. It's like a parent with a kid who gets missing, who runs off in a store for a few minutes. You're never leaving my side again, young man.
Oh, man. It's just fucking great. And you know what I want to see happen the second someone else wins the title? They take a picture of it at a Longhorn Steakhouse.
Yeah.
But we already have a match upcoming for Cody against an up-and-comer and a dude who's looking really good, Sammy Guevara.
Yeah. Sammy Guevara is kind of a well-known indie dude. He got over kind of the modern way to get over in wrestling, which is to start a YouTube channel. He did like vlogs about what it's like to be constantly touring around on the indie scene. And now he's in AEW as kind of this shithead kid heel. And on TV, his first match and Cody's first match will be those two going off in singles. And Guevara's kind of been like, yeah, I'm not Cody's biggest fan because Cody's said the same thing every other older person has said about me, which is he's got a lot of potential. But I've been wrestling for X amount of years now. When are people going to stop saying I've got potential and that I am just a good wrestler? Because in my opinion, I am a damn good wrestler. And being told I have potential annoys me because you're not acknowledging what I've done. And Cody was just kind of like, well, I mean, I haven't seen that much of him yet, so I was just trying to be nice, but I'm certainly going to take this match seriously, because if I lose this match, then I'm out of the running for the AEW title. And I think that's super cool, that like wins and losses matter so much that if Cody loses one match on the first week of TV, he's out of that fucking first title match.
Oh, yeah. I think people were going like, how are wins and losses going to matter? And it's like, oh no, this is gonna make it so much harder for them to tell stories. It's like, yeah, but the stories they're going to tell are going to make so much more sense.
Yeah, they're going to be a lot more interesting.
Yeah, continuity's a bitch, but continuity gives us dope shit in comic books.
Mm-hmm. That's one of the reasons why I love wrestling, is it's just endless continuity, stretching back to as far back as the early 1900s.
Going back to Gotch, man.
Mm-hmm.
Going back to Gotch. But that was AEW.
Shall we take a piss break before we talk about WWE?
Yes, so hold on, let me...
Oh my goodness!
Next up is WWE, which for once in a while, wasn't complete horseshit.
You could say that.
So, let's just go with it. First things first, Takeover Toronto 2.
Yeah, they only called this Takeover Toronto, but it is the second one, so...
Yes. We had a good match. Starting off, Street Profits versus Undisputed Era for the tag team titles.
Okay, so... I'm not down on WWE right now, but I'm just going to be honest. During this segment, you're going to hear a lot of me saying, it was fine to certain matches. Doesn't mean I think they were bad, just means I wasn't super into it. So, it was fine.
It was solid. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
They all did some dope shit.
They did.
Right. Next, we have a little bit of a grudge match, kind of. Backstab and someone wants revenge. Candice LeRae versus Io Shirai.
First non-title women's match on a takeover in like 3 years, apparently. And a pretty good one. It was nice finally seeing the new heel Io Shirai in a frickin' match, and seeing her do some in-ring stuff and her new kind of badass yellow and black ring gear.
Yeah, looks good.
Yeah, I'm into it. It like this whole feud is basically, I'm really into them doing this with Io, but kind of sucks that this is Candice, because Candice deserves better things. And also, this was very clearly supposed to be Kyrie.
Yeah. Shame that Triple H's toys get taken by Daddy Vince.
Mm-hmm.
But, all the while, Matt Riddle calls out Killian Dane.
Yeah, kind of like extending their feud, and him going like, hey, you beat the shit out of me on a match last Wednesday. Let's fucking have it out here on TakeOver so I can kick your ass, bro. And it was fine.
It was a good beat 'em up. It was a good brawl. Killian Dane took advantage of the fact that Matt Riddle was kind of barefoot and just stomped on his foot.
Yeah, that was a good spot. I'll give them that.
Have you been seeing the theory that they're setting up Matt Riddle versus Goldberg?
I would lose it if that happened, but only because I can't imagine it happening. Like, him shitting on Goldberg is very much an out of kayfabe thing that he's doing on Twitter.
Oh, no. See, here's the thing. WWE has a thing where NXT stars watch along and watch the pay-per-view and commentate on it.
Oh?
Matt Riddle was on it while Goldberg was wrestling.
Oh, I didn't watch that. I just watched the thing of fucking Johnny Gargano watching the Finn's entrance and just ignoring everyone, being so into it. Which made me want to give him a hug. I was like, you're a true fan, just like all of us.
So yeah, Matt Riddle shitting on Goldberg is officially canon. So... I mean, even Goldberg said some things about it.
I mean, there's a certain bit of news we're going to talk about a little later, and it would make sense, be a good little early draw for that certain bit of news.
Oh yeah, but you know what? I wouldn't say no to it, but I can also understand maybe their styles wouldn't work, and maybe Matt Riddle's just genuinely pissed at Goldberg and goes like, no, I don't want to work with him.
Yep. It could go either way, and either way we'd be perfectly happy.
But honestly, how dope would it be, like a 3-minute match, and Goldberg is trying to be Goldberg, but Matt Riddle just gets him in a hold and chokes him the fuck out.
Mm-hmm.
That would be...
Matt Riddle would be so over instantly. He'd have to be put into the title picture.
Oh yeah, it'd be great. But no more Matt Riddle. But we do have an Austin Theory.
Yeah, that there. Is he an Impact boy?
I don't know.
Yeah, I really don't know much about him. I've seen his name thrown around quite a bit. So I know he's a generally liked outside of WWE guy, but he's signed to NXT as well as a bunch of other people who nobody ever said the name of, so I don't remember their names either.
All right. But next we have a triple threat for the North American title. Roderick Strong, Pete Dunne, and Velveteen Dream, who came out to dancers from the Toronto Raptors.
Yeah, like Dream always does these incredible takeover entrances, but man, was this one so fucking good.
Yeah, especially because they're in Toronto, they're playing to the crowd.
Reminded me a lot of Sonny Kiss with the Jacksonville Jaguars a few
That's what I was about to just say, dude. It was like, like, what is it with flamboyant black men working together with cheerleaders of the local sports team?
It just works.
Yeah, it works. Especially because, like, it just, the way the cheerleaders worked with Sonny Kiss, it worked for him. But also the way that the dancers worked for Velveteen Dream, it, like, the first one, it felt like, oh, we're all a bunch of just friends dancing together and are having fun.
Yeah, because Kiss was doing, like, a legitimate cheerleading routine.
Yeah,
Dream
and he's
here is
man.
like, let's do some fucking hip-hop crunk shit.
Also, all of you find me extremely attractive, both the men and the women.
Yeah.
So, that's Velveteen's Dream.
Also, I was like, I like the sports stuff, but I think I was more popped at first by him doing the Mountie dance. That's a thing I know.
But this was a fucking great match, full of so many backs being broken.
It was fine. I mean, like, it was certainly good getting to see Pete Dunne and some more NXT stuff, mainline NXT stuff. But other than that, it mostly felt like fillers. I mean, good filler, but filler.
Okay. But I liked it.
For this feud, not for the show.
There was one spot that I went like, oh shit, that was fucking dope. Oh, I know what it was. It was Roderick Strong doing his fucking hold on Velveteen Dream and Pete Dunne at the same time.
Yeah, that was great.
Oh yeah, it's fucking great. But next up, we had the NXT Women's Championship title going for Mia Yim and Shayna Baszler.
It was fine.
Yeah. It's a Shayna match.
Like, it's weird because, like, I actually kind of like Mia Yim, but this was the most mediocre NXT Women's title match I've seen in forever. Like, even when Bianca Belair was going for the title, and thusly I didn't really like either of the people in the match, I was still pretty into it. This was just kind of boring, and it's also partially due to the fact that the feud has been a bit mishandled, in my opinion. Like, Wrestle Talk talked about this a lot in their weekly NXT podcast, but, like, the feud has basically been Mia Yim talk shit and then attacks Shayna's cronies in a really brutal way that doesn't really come off as a babyface-ish thing to do. And it's more like this, like, they're trying to make Mia Yim seem tough because she's the Blasian baddie, she's this cool badass gangsta lady, but it makes her seem like an ass. It kind of makes her seem like an asshole because she's attacking these two women while they're just training or working. And it's like, okay, I get you want to get them out of the way so they can't interfere with your match, but there's a better time to do it.
Yeah.
And I don't, like, my memory's a bit hazy of this show because it was a few weeks ago now, but I don't think they actually got involved in the match, so yay, she achieved her goal, but it was just a typical Shayna match of somebody trying to do some cool shit that's unique to their style, and then Shayna just kind of doing MMA shit, and then tap, tap, snap.
Yeah. I hate to say this, but I think with AEW just kind of coming in and doing dope shit, it's making people take a look at NXT and go like, oh, wait a second, it's not that this was really, really good. It was just an oasis.
It was better than everything else.
And now we realize, oh, it's B. It's a B grade, Raw and SmackDown have been like D's. This is a B, but AEW's been going from like
Raw and
B's
SmackDowns
and
are F's that sometimes get up to D's.
D's. But like, it really kind of makes you go like, oh.
And like, I don't want to poo-poo.
And you start to see the WWE that is truly in NXT.
Mm-hmm. And I don't want to poo-poo NXT too much, but like, it generally has shown that like, yeah, they need to step their game up a bit because they're good, but they're not hashtag good shit.
They rested on their laurels a little too much.
Mm-hmm.
But I think going on Wednesday, NXT is going to ramp up. And this last match made me think, oh yeah, no, they got a lot more left in the tank.
We can only hope so, because I guess I'm introducing it. Johnny Gargano took on Adam Cole for the NXT Men's Championship. I know it's just called the NXT Championship, but honestly, I think it's slightly sexist to say the championship and then the women's championship. So I like to say men's championship and women's championships and hashtag equality. Free Faces of Hell match where Adam Cole had chose a traditional wrestling match. Johnny chose a street fight, and then if it went to free falls, William Regal was going to pick the third stipulation. And hey, guess what? It went to a third fall. And he picked a fucking ECW cage as the third stipulation.
William Regal was like, I don't fucking care how hurt you guys get. I just want this to be fucking over.
Mm-hmm. And this was a good ass match. This made this show for me because up until then I was just kind of like, I mean, this isn't a bad pay-per-view, but it's just kind of okay. But then this match happened, and I was like, okay, I'm glad I watched this because
it was an average NXT pay-per-view with a really good main event.
Yeah, because Johnny comes out, and he's clearly not at the top of his game. Cole's kind of taken advantage of him at certain points. And Cole pulls out a chair, and he's about to hit Johnny with it. And he's like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not stupid. I know that that'll get me disqualified and kick us off to the next fall. And so he throws it aside, but then Johnny is able to get the upper hand, and he takes the chair and deliberately hits Cole with it to get them on to the next fall, which is his stipulation of a street fight. And I love the fact that right after he did that, the crowd lost it, and he just sat down in the chair and shrugged like, do you really expect anything else?
And then he mimed along with, the next stipulation is a street fight. And he was like, oh, wow, sweet. Brilliant.
Yeah. And then he just went to town on him.
Dope shit. His gear was Wolverine, which kind of helped with the never give up attitude.
Mm-hmm.
Which is dope.
He's running pretty low at this point. What Marvel character do you think he's going to do next?
You know what? He could do a DC.
If he started going to DC characters, I would lose it.
I mean,
because like I like Marvel as much as the next guy, but I'm a DC guy at heart. It's just what I grew up with.
I mean, so I can definitely see like Green Lantern being a motif.
Mm-hmm.
Because
if he came out in frickin' what's the name? I'm drunk, so I'm having trouble remembering names. I always get drunk for these shows. It's just tradition at this point. If he came out,
very, very sad tradition.
If he came out in Martian Manhunter gear, I would lose it. Because Martian Manhunter is low-key the best member of the Justice League. I don't care what anybody says.
Just don't touch his cookies.
Yeah.
No, there's plenty of Marvel characters. He hasn't done Mr. Fantastic.
Ooh.
He hasn't done The Thing.
Yeah, I would have loved him. I would have loved to see him wearing like do the full-on face paint, do Ben Grimm makeup.
Piss everybody off by doing It's a Clobbering Time.
Mm-hmm. Like, no, he comes out and does it, and then he just turns to the camera and winks. Like, I know you're watching, punk.
Oh man.
But that fucking cage, man, I lost it when that thing started coming down because I thought it was going to be a last man standing match for the final stipulation. I was like, that makes sense. That kind of makes sense of what an authority figure would do to get this feud over with.
Yeah.
But no, they bring down this badass cage that kind of felt like a bit of a wink and a nod to AEW of like, okay, you guys want to bring death matches back? Let's do some fucking death matches.
You want blood and guts? I'll give you blood and guts.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, but it was good. It was good.
Yeah. That fucking spot that ended it, where Johnny jumped off of the table that was latched onto the side onto another table that had Adam on it. Oh my god.
Man. Oh man. And then Adam just rolls over and doesn't realize that he's pinning.
But he pins and he wins.
So good. So good.
And,
it was very
apparently, and this is important to mention for a thing we'll talk about a little later, after the show went off air, Johnny went up to the top of the ramp and did like an emotional kind of a bow thing with William Regal and teased that he might be getting called up.
Yes, but remember, this was before they said, oh yeah, by the way, NXT's going on USA Network.
Uh-huh.
So we'll get to that.
Yep. But first,
we have the hottest party of the summer? Is that the tagline?
I think it was like the biggest party of this. It's fucking SummerSlam, bro.
It's SummerSlam. It's WrestleMania in the summer.
It's the MicroMaster version of WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Which arguably is the better version of WrestleMania.
Honestly, this was a really good pay-per-view.
Yeah, and I was kind of thinking and talking with another friend who's kind of into wrestling. Like, I don't out and out hate the main roster anymore. I'm just kind of ambivalent towards it. But I think I will pop in. I will still pop in for at least 2 pay-per-views a year from now on. One being the Royal Rumble, because that match is just my favorite concept in all of wrestling. And 2 being SummerSlam, because it basically is WrestleMania, but it's like a few hours shorter.
Yeah.
So I did watch this because you mentioned it, and because the internet would not shut up about a certain penultimate match that we will talk about later.
Yes.
And it's good. I liked it. Let's talk about some matches.
First
I didn't watch the pre-show.
I didn't watch the pre-show.
Mm-hmm.
But first, we have Natalya versus Becky Lynch in a submission match, which fucking brilliant.
Really interesting to see people reacting to this because, like Takeover, this was in Toronto, Natalya's home turf. So people were like wanting to cheer for both of them and couldn't make up their minds.
Yeah. But it was a solid match.
Yeah.
That fucking sharpshooter on the second rope.
Oh, so good.
So good.
And it's nice to just see, like, because Natalya's not like Nikki James levels of getting older, but she is starting to get up there to the point where she's going to be much more of a second stringer. But it's nice to see her still being in the title picture. That's a good little bit of looking out for the women's division, in my opinion.
Yeah, and that's kind of Becky's modus operandi. She's picking people that are good but haven't had a shot recently, which is nice. It was a good, solid match with a stipulation that you don't see that often.
Yeah.
So it was good. Trish Stratus gave a weird interview, a weird, rambly interview.
Yeah, she basically said, I blazed trails so Charlotte Flair could blaze trails. I'm gonna go beat her up because it's my last match, y'all.
And I won the spotlight.
I remember when you used to twiddle your dick to me back in the Attitude Era? Okay, good.
She was Ruthless Aggression.
Oh, was she? Okay.
Yeah, no, she's Divas Era.
Okay. Well, remember when you used to twiddle your dick to me? Watch my match. That's basically the promo.
But next we had Goldberg versus Dolph Ziggler.
This match was so good.
Mainly because it was so funny to see Dolph Ziggler go like, "You haven't beat me."
Yeah, because Goldberg comes out, kills Ziggler in like 2 seconds, and leaves. And then Ziggler asks for a mic, and it's just like, "You didn't fucking do shit, bro. You fucking come out here and you can do more. I know you're fucking Goldberg. I can beat you. Fuck you." And then Goldberg hits him again. And then Ziggler asks for a mic again and taunts him again. And then Goldberg hits him again. Goldberg fucking killed Dolph Ziggler. He is officially dead. Never mention this guy again.
Okay. Next is a backstage segment with the New Day, where they go like, "Hey, Kofi, we got someone dope because, hey, we're in Toronto, but guess whose hometown is also Toronto? The rapper known as Drake. And we got Drake for you, and it's Drake Maverick."
Womp, womp, womp.
It was a cute joke.
Yeah. It's nice to see the 24/7 title getting mentioned on the pay-per-views.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, I'm not watching main roster TV anymore, but I do still keep up with reviews and stuff from people like Brian Zane and Wrestle Talk. So I know what's going on with that belt, and it does seem like it's the most entertaining thing on the main roster still.
Yep. But the next match, which was AJ Styles versus Ricochet for the United States title.
It was fine.
I liked it. It was good.
It was cool to see Ricochet wearing Nightwing gear, but that was like the highlight of the match for me. That and Carmella and R-Truth being disguised as the Japanese announce team.
Doing English accents for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
No, dude, the Ricochet spot where he just walked on the shoulders of Gallows and Anderson to do a move on AJ.
Yeah.
That was good.
That was kind of cool.
It was a good, just... It was a WWE flippy match.
Mm-hmm. And again, I was really excited by the Nightwing gear. I feel like I almost wish that Ricochet didn't just do it for SummerSlam, that was like his regular gear for a little bit, because of all the like comic book homage costumes that I've seen in wrestling, that is one of the few that I've been like, that's actually a perfect fit for your character. Because for those of you who don't know, Nightwing is Dick Grayson, the original Robin. His backstory is that he grew up in the fucking circus as a trapeze artist.
Yep. But that was a pretty good match. I liked it. Street Profits had a little backstage skit with Ric Flair, which must be awkward because Ric Flair's apparently suing WWE for the use of the man.
Oh, you did hear about that. Okay, I was planning to ask you about that off recording. But yeah, that's really weird. Basically, for those of you who don't know, Ric Flair has filed a lawsuit of WWE saying that Becky Lynch calling herself the man is ripping off his gimmick from the 80s when he used to say, "To be the man, you have to beat the man, and I am the man." Woo. And he did try and go for official channels. He did try to talk to Triple H and be like, "Hey, this is a thing I used to do. Can I get some compensation?" And apparently Triple H just ghosted him on that, which, not very cool of you, Hunter. But also, Rick, this isn't very cool of you. You're the dude who got over by ripping off Gorgeous George. You call yourself the Nature Boy.
Nature Boy.
I was about to get to that. You call yourself the Nature Boy. There was somebody else who did that before you. His name was Buddy Rogers. Did you ever give him any money? I don't think so.
But yeah, that's it. That's it for that. Next, we have a furry versus a hugger.
It was fine.
Yeah, it was good. It was fine. Okay, Kevin Owens versus Shane McMahon with special guest enforcer Elias. If Kevin Owens loses, he quits the WWE.
It was fine.
Yeah, that was fine.
Owens, like, I really want to be into Kevin Owens because he had this great storyline of lashing out against Shane, getting so much TV time, but they just didn't handle it that well after that promo, from what I heard, of like, he's just not doing too hot. They're kind of like either over or under booking him. I can't remember which it is because it's fucking 2:30 in the morning and I'm already drunk. But yeah, this match wasn't too great, but it did its job, and I don't think I put this on the card, so hey, I'll mention this here. Apparently, Kevin Owens got fired on SmackDown this week, and there's a rumor going around that he's going to be joining NXT as part of the Undisputed Era.
That would be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But next, we have Charlotte Flair versus Trish Stratus. Pretty good.
Yeah. It was Stratus's farewell match, and she did the thing that, even though I complained about it at WrestleMania, I think it should be the fucking standard for a farewell match. You go over putting a young, hot piece of talent that's similar to yourself.
Yeah.
She lost to Charlotte Flair, and then she got to get her thank you Trish chance and got up on the ropes and did her pose, and good for her.
Yeah. Apparently Bret Hart wished Seth good luck. I don't remember that.
That was like a very brief segment of Seth backstage getting ready for his match, and then Bret Hart literally just walks up, puts his shoulders on Seth, and says, "I know you're going to do well tonight. I contractually have to be here because it's a WWE show in Canada, and they put me with you because apparently you said some stupid shit on Twitter and you need to get over."
I'd much rather be presenting another AEW title belt.
Could you imagine if that was just the standard for AEW? Like, he came, like, instead of it just being in a glass case at All Out, he introduced the women's title.
Yeah. Too bad my niece can't get this belt, but whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Next, Kofi Kingston versus Randy Orton.
Yep, Randall Dandle in a title scramble.
In a match that the audience responded with bullshit.
Yep.
Because it ended in a countout.
Yep. And it was fine.
Yeah.
Like, I think it would have been much better if there had been a decisive victory. I'm definitely on that bandwagon. But also the match itself just wasn't super exciting, especially when, like, this should have been like a huge, amazing draw-dropping match after how much incidental build-up there has been to it over the years.
Yeah. I don't know. Are they trying to extend it? Is that what?
Like I said, I'm not keeping up with WWE TV, so I have no idea.
I'm just more hypothetical. It's just like...
But as Brian Zane pointed out, it's incredibly similar to SummerSlam last year with the same title of AJ versus Samoa Joe. Remember that?
Yep.
It's and I'm not gonna say like, oh, lazy booking, recycling booking, or anything like that, but it definitely does kind of smell of that sort of thing.
Yeah. But next we have probably the most interesting thing on the whole card: Finn Balor versus The Fiend.
Match of the night.
The 5-minute match of the night.
Yep. Just, I think, like, okay, I did say I'm not giving a shit about main roster TV. I still watch Firefly Funhouse every week. I still keep up with any segment that involves Bray every week. Until they screw up Bray, which will inevitably happen. I'm just going to say it. We all don't want it to happen, but it will inevitably happen. Until they screw up The Fiend and Firefly Funhouse and all that, I am still watching those segments every week on the YouTube.
Yeah.
So I was fully hyped for this. I was very excited. I planned to just watch this match on its own originally, but because you said you were watching SummerSlam, I went and watched the whole thing. And, I'm kind of glad that I had that build and anticipation for a few hours to this, because that fucking entrance.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Like, I'm normally not into that kind of wrestler theme, but I have listened to Hurt Heel quite a few times since this match, and like it was all over the internet, but fucking the lantern is Bray's disembodied head.
Oh, yep.
And when he goes to get into the ring, there's a little spot where you can see like he tries to take off the mask, but he can't. And then he just completely dominated Finn, just destroyed the fuck out of that little Irish twink. And
twunk.
The spot where he fucking neck snapped him.
Oh.
And like the fact that the mandible claw is officially Bray's finishing move now is so fucking good, especially because I forget if I mentioned this, but on Raw 25, the first time he used it, and he used it on Mick Foley. Mick Foley like gave him permission and passed the torch for that to be his new finisher, and it works so well. Especially
because this is this creepy ass clown motherfucker grabbing your jaw and just going like "fuck you."
Mm-hmm.
So good. But now Finn Balor is going away for a couple months because he just got married.
Yeah,
and he wants some time away from the biz, and you know what? He deserves it.
And it does bear mentioning, there was a spot on the pre-show, a little segment, where he was in the locker room getting ready, and AJ Styles and the Good Brothers came up and said, "Hey, we're buddies from Japan. You want us to help out and maybe interfere with your match? Because that Fiend guy seems pretty scary." And Finn was like, "Nah, I've got it." So it's kind of confirmed at this point that when Finn comes back, he's just going to join the OC.
Oh, yeah, that'd be cool. You know what also would be interesting? Because Adam Cole was also a member of the Bullet Club. If, like, the Undisputed Era were not, like, necessarily part of the OC, but, like, they were friends. And, you know, you scratch our back, we scratch your back. We're all bros, right? Yeah. That'd be cool. But yeah, great way to write Finn Balor off for a good couple months, and it makes Bray look fucking terrifying.
Yeah, and I've heard that like Bray is like deliberately not being used on TV a whole lot because they want him to feel like a big event, like he's something special they only pull out every once in a while, so they're trying to keep him to Firefly Funhouse, and the Fiend only really makes appearances on either dark matches or pay-per-views.
Which I appreciate the dark matches because people are coming to these shows going like, you know what would be really cool to see Bray, and they don't put him on TV, but he comes out for the live crowd, and it's like, yeah.
And even the dark matches make sense with his character because he had his first dark match this last Raw, and it was against the B team. Like, it was a 2-on-1 handicap match, and he fucking obliterated the B team, and one of the B team is his real-life brother.
Oh, yeah. Believe in that. And then next, we had Brock Lesnar versus Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins wins. Do we need to talk about it anymore?
It was fine. It was fine.
It was okay. It was, yeah. That's it.
Can we go back to NXT now?
Seth Rollins wins. He's the new Universal Champion.
Yay.
We don't have to deal with Brock Lesnar anymore right now. Until the next time we have to deal with Brock Lesnar.
Now let's just take Seth's phone away from him.
Just have Becky teach him how to tweet.
I feel like the fucking Universal Championship is just cursed. Like, if you are the Universal Champion or the favorite to win it, you just contractually have to be an asshole in some way.
Yeah. Or you get hurt, and you have to drop the belt.
Yeah.
But we have a winner for the NXT Breakout Tournament. Jordan Miles chooses to take on Adam Cole for the NXT Championship.
Yep, the athletic anime hero fucking came in and surprised everyone because, like I said last time, people were really down on him. They were like, is this loser really going to smile the whole time and wear a fucking Naruto headband? Fuck him. And I was like, no, this guy's great. He's really wholesome and fun. I like him. He's my favorite. And he fucking won. I'm so happy. Both because it was my favorite and because it pissed off so many other people.
Yep. But he loses the title shot against Adam Cole. But hey, he looks really big. He looks cool. He can do more things now.
Yeah, and like that actual title match really put him over. Like I think people might have finally gotten into him after that match. I haven't watched too many of the reviews since then. I still need to watch that Wrestle Talk podcast, but it generally seemed like the reception was like, I'm still not a big fan of the gimmick, but that was a good match. And I'm glad for that. I really want to see Jordan Miles go places. I feel like he could be on Johnny Gargano's level in another couple of years.
But the an announcement with NXT, it is now going to be a live touring show on USA Network.
Going from an hour to 2 hours.
Gee, I wonder why they're putting a show on TV on Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
It's counter programming to AEW, so.
And we've talked about this sort of like off recording for this show, but honestly, I'm pretty excited by this news. Like, there's part of me that wants to be pissed off, like, oh, WWE is just trying to stop AEW. They're just being a bunch of butthurt old white dudes. Fuck them. But, like, honestly, this gives NXT a bigger spotlight, lets them shine more. And Hunter has repeatedly come out and said, no, Vince is not going to be involved. It was his decision to put it on USA and take it to 2 hours, but he's not getting any creative control. This is still my show. So it's just NXT being given a bigger spotlight because they already had the plan to move SmackDown to Fox on Fridays, and Raw is probably never going to leave Monday nights.
It's Monday Night Raw.
Yeah. But NXT is already a Wednesday show, so moving it from the network, where people who are already really dedicated to it are going to pay for it, to a place where just anybody can tune in and see the best product WWE has to offer, is a really cool move. And, like, there's part of me that wants to be like, but the thing that makes NXT so great is it's only an hour long. It doesn't take up a whole lot of my week like all the other TV shows. But 2 hours honestly isn't that bad. And like I told you a couple weeks ago, I recently got cable back, so I'm super excited to start watching AEW on TV every Wednesday with my dad, because I want to get him into wrestling, and we have cable now. And honestly, I don't think NXT is going to need much help in the viewing numbers, but AEW might. So my plan is every Wednesday night, because I always have Wednesday night off, I'm going to watch AEW on TV with my dad, and then he's going to go to bed, and then I'm going to come in my office and watch NXT on my computer.
Nice. And apparently NXT is going to be on the network day after for international audiences.
That's good.
Yeah.
And for the 5 of you that care, NXT UK is not changing time or date at all.
Yeah. No, that'd be dumb.
Mm-hmm.
But Undisputed Era claims that the prophecy is yet fulfilled. What the fuck?
Yeah. Basically, people were kind of poo-pooing them on social media and saying, haha, Roderick didn't win his fucking match at TakeOver, and neither did Kyle and Bobby, so obviously you guys talking about being draped in the gold by the end of 2019 isn't going to happen. And they were like, listen, motherfucker, shit takes time.
Bitch, we still got Survivor Series.
And then fucking the tag titles were won by Bobby and Kyle, I forgot his name for a second there, on an episode of TV. They beat Street Profits, and now Street Profits are chasing after the titles again. And then after Velveteen Dream basically said, like, yeah, I'm not paying much attention to Pete Dunne anymore, but Roderick Strong, spotlight's on you. Roderick Strong set Velveteen Dream's fucking couch on fire.
Fuck your couch!
Mm-hmm. So, shit's happening with them boys.
Yep. Let's see. Mia Yim offered a spot under the Dragon's Wing.
Yeah, so I take it you're just not keeping up with NXT at the moment?
Nope.
Okay, so basically, Shayna Baszler came out and called herself the Dragon and said, like, I am the Dragon of the women's division. Yim, you put up a really good fight, but you're not able to beat me. But if you want, there's always room for one more in my little gang here. So you can come out and join me. And then Mia Yim came out and went, fuck you, and beat the shit out of her.
Lee and Dijovic feud resumes. Big beefy boys beating each other.
Yeah, nice to see that this wasn't just completely dropped because of Dijkovic's feud. They went like, okay, our boy's all healed up now, and Lee's just kind of been floundering around since then, so let's just get this thing going again. And it got going again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shane Thorne takes out frustration on breakout tournament contestants.
Yeah, Shane Thorne basically went, I've been here forever, and I've been underlooked, and you're going to bring all these new motherfuckers in? Fuck that. And he went and attacked them all backstage.
Yeah, and he's streaming with, he's on a streaming Twitch channel with one of my favorite boys, Dio Madden, otherwise known as Brennan Williams. He's great.
But that was interesting and kind of built into a thing we'll talk about in a minute. And then Killian Dane and Matt Riddle are still doing some shit. They had a big-ass TV match main event where I think Dane won, but then Riddle chased him up the fucking ramp and beat the shit out of him. They crashed through the stage up top. That was cool. But the thing I'm most excited about in NXT right now, fucking Rhea Ripley showed up on mainline NXT when Shayna Baszler came out to cut a promo and said, I know what you're about to say. You've beaten everyone on this roster. What's there left for you to do? You haven't beaten me, bitch.
Yeah.
And, like, I've talked about how I don't like Shayna Baszler and how I want someone else to be NXT Women's Champion. Rhea Ripley is the first person I've seen that I actually could picture beating her.
Yeah, I can see it.
Because Rhea Ripley is a fucking big badass punk concert mosh pit bitch. Who better to beat up a badass UFC boxer bitch?
Yeah, this is gonna be fun. Johnny Gargano teases getting called up, which now it's more of like a horizontal move.
Mm-hmm.
It's less going up, and it's more of like brand trading, like SmackDown and Raw kind of.
Well, that was the whole thing with this this segment that happened just this week on NXT. Is Johnny came out, and for like 2 weeks after Takeover, they did this build up of like, it's uncertain what the future of Johnny Gargano's career will be. He had this big emotional farewell. Let's take a look back at all his accomplishments in NXT. Oh, he's coming the week after we've played this video package, and he's going to make a big announcement about the future of his career, and everybody's going, oh, fuck, Johnny's getting called up. Fuck. And he comes out, and he starts giving this big emotional speech, and it's basically like, okay, he's getting called up. Let's just accept it and prepare ourselves for the blow. And then Shane Thorne comes out and goes, Johnny, shut the fuck up. Nobody cares. You've been hogging TV time the entire time you've been here. There's guys like me who have been here just as long as you and haven't gotten shit to do, and I'm fucking pissed off and tired of it. Get out of here and let me have my TV time. And Johnny just fucking beats the shit out of him, walks up to the top of the stage and goes, fuck getting called up. I'm NXT for life. And I was like, Johnny, you're my new best friend.
Yeah. But
it's so good, especially because his tweet afterwards was like, he tweeted immediately after the show, the term getting called up is now officially dead. We are the main roster now. We are NXT. And that sounds, on the surface, kind of like hokey and, oh, I'm trying to put the company I work for over, but, like, at the same time, it's, yeah, you're the guys who are about to go to war with AEW. The main roster isn't bothering with it yet. You are the main roster now. You're the ones I'm going to watch.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. NXT all the way, man.
Yeah, you're the one in the Wednesday Night War. You're on the front lines.
It's hashtag good shit.
Raw and SmackDown are the rich fops back at home who don't know the struggles.
Mm-hmm.
The struggles. Street Profits vow to take their tag titles back.
Yeah, basically they were in Central Park while Raw and SmackDown were at MSG this week because for some reason the Street Profits have been touring around with Raw. Most likely because Paul Heyman just likes them.
Yeah.
But
plus, it's interesting that they're like a Greek chorus. It's interesting.
That's fair. But they finally did a Raw touring promo with NXT and said, like, hey, we lost the tag titles recently, and even though we're enjoying the good life touring around with the main roster, we want those things back. It's just not the same without them. So we'll be on USA. We're going to start touring with NXT, and we're going to take our tag titles back. And it's like, all right, legit. I'm here for it, fam.
And Dakota Kai is coming back to main NXT.
Yeah. And this kind of feeds into a whole thing that's kind of been swirling around since the NXT on USA announcement. A lot of people are thinking UK may not be lasting much longer. It may be getting kind of dissolved because a lot of these UK roster people are showing up on mainline NXT and going like, yeah, we're back. We're going to do cool shit. Like we've had Pete Dunne. And then we had Rhea Ripley, and now we've got Dakota Kai announcing she's coming in a little video package. So NXT UK, either it's going to have a massive shift in what it's doing, or it's not going to be around too much longer. And we officially know, as of today, there was an interview released. 205, when fucking SmackDown goes to Fox, 205's ending. It's going to be amalgamated into NXT.
You know what? That's fair.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. I'm interested to see what they do with those people in a more NXT-like setting.
Yeah. That's where they should have been the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, just imagine Drew Gulak going up...
Sorry.
Just imagine Drew Gulak going up against Velveteen Dream.
Yeah. And I mean, hopefully we can get some good fucking Canales content because Lord knows that the 24/7 picture has not been doing that.
What, you don't like the cuck story?
Like, it makes sense for their characters, but also it really upsets me because I want to see them be more actually, like, in love with each other because that's what they are in real life.
Yeah, whatever happened to the fact that Maria Kanellis had the 24/7 title? Who took it off of her?
Okay, get ready to take an oof.
Oof.
Mike did it.
Oh.
He covered her when they went to get an ultrasound.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oof.
Like, I generally like the 24/7 title stuff, but please, for the love of God, get the Canellis eye out of there.
That's like dumb Attitude Era bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. So you watched a documentary about Kofi Kingston.
I did. There was an episode of WWE 24 that came out just before SummerSlam called Kofi Kingston, The Year of Return, which was an hour-long documentary about Kofi's career framed through his trip to Ghana. That was a few months ago now, which was part of this big tourism promotion that Ghana has been doing this year called the Year of Return, which I forget what anniversary it is, but it's like a big-ass amount of years since the slave trade in Ghana began. And it's like anybody who is descended from slaves that came from Ghana, you are welcome to come back and experience your home country and its culture and be a part of it. And And Kofi was like, I'm from Ghana. My ancestors probably came here as slaves. I don't know for sure, but I'm going to go there and I'm going to tour around with the WWE Championship and be a cool, happy boy and tell kids to believe in their dreams. And he did that. And it was cool. And he also gave a lot of interviews and stuff with his family and whatnot, talking about his history growing up as a wrestling fan and being super into it, even though there weren't too many people who looked like him. And the fact that he really wanted to become a wrestler from a young age, to the point of where he did high school wrestling and he went into it thinking it was going to be like the WWE.
Oh, that's adorable.
Yeah. And then he talked about trying out for Tough Enough and coming up on the main roster as a Jamaican character, and how like a lot of people point to it as like a really excuse me, as like a really dumb kayfabe breaking moment. But like when Triple H called him out for slipping out of his accent in that Survivor Series build, that it was a really freeing moment for him, and he was like, I can just be whatever I want to be now. And then he talked about creating New Day with Xavier Woods and Big E, and how that whole thing went, which was really interesting for me because I always heard that like the New Day weren't over at first, but by the time I got into wrestling, they were over. So finding out that like, oh, they were supposed to be like a black preachers trio, and the power of positivity was like this really serious thing they were trying to push, and people hated it at first. I was like, okay. Never would have guessed that, but...
And then Xavier decided, hey, let's just be heels, and had to fucking gamble his career with Vince in order to make it work.
Like, that is a Vince-ass concept. And then they made it work, and it's really cool. And talking about the build to WrestleMania and Kofi Mania and all that, and like, there's some legitimately really cool backstage at WrestleMania this year footage you get to see of like him with his family talking with his son. His son asks if he can go in the ring, and he's like, maybe, we'll see, I'm not sure. And of course you know that his son's got in the ring and celebrated with him after he won. And like there's a moment where he goes up to all these fans and they're just losing it for him, and he's so excited that like people are that excited to see him. And he talks about, like, there's a moment, like, maybe an hour before his match when it finally hit him, like, oh, this isn't just another day at work. We're about to have a moment here. This is kind of special. And my personal favorite thing in the whole documentary, there's a moment when he's literally walking to his match where Ricky the Dragon Steamboat comes out of nowhere, hugs him, and says, good luck. And he, like, has a complete starstruck moment as Ricky the Dragon Steamboat walks off and goes, my favorite wrestler of all time just wished me good luck for my WrestleMania match. There's no higher point in my life now.
Oh, man.
And I'm like, you know, I'm glad that you were the last time I was really invested in the main roster. This was a good note to go out on.
Yeah. But that was this month of wrestling. So, overall, what do you think? Okay.
Like, what else can I say? It's a good month of, like, paying off certain shit and building to certain shit that we're about to hit. We're about to go into hashtag the Wednesday Night Wars, and I've been really excited watching shit like All Out, and to a certain extent Summerslam, and NXT TV has been pretty good, even though TakeOver was a little disappointing. I am excited to see how things shake out in the next couple months when both major things that we follow start on TV. And for the first time ever, I'll actually be following wrestling live on TV because they're both on nights I always have off from work.
But wrestling, it just fucking was good this month.
Yeah.
It was solid.
Like this, we really are. People keep saying, like, oh, I hope we're on the verge of a boom. I'm pretty sure we're on the verge of a boom. NXT is going to hit TV next week. It already will have by the time people are listening to this podcast. 2 weeks from that, AEW hits TV. AEW is so hot right now. They just had one of the biggest memes on Twitter, and people are so like hype, and they're AEW has talked about from the start that their mission is to get lapsed wrestling fans back into it, and it seems like it's starting to work. And NXT is just like, this is the WWE product for adult wrestling fans, and that's getting more of a spotlight. Or, like, I'm not going to say I hope a wrestling boom is coming. I'm going to say I know a wrestling boom is coming, and I'm so excited that it's happening just after I got into wrestling.
Oh, thing we never talked about. Apparently, AEW wrestlers got their face scanned. And we were freaking out about.
Stage it all out. Face scans, which is done for video games and action figures. Kenny's talked about since day one of his goals with AEW is to make a good modern wrestling game. So, hopefully that's happening. And B, hopefully we're getting an AEW action figure line. I would kill for a Cody Rhodes action figure. And, like, this is just my own biases talking, but I really hope Hasbro gets the license and just curb stomps the shit out of Mattel in wrestling figures, like they did earlier this year to Bandai with Power Rangers figures.
Oh god, yeah. There's so many possibilities there, but we have talked already for far too long. So, tell the audience who you are.
Hi, I'm the Vacuuminator. I make videos on YouTube reviewing various items from my collection. I'm into all sorts of stuff like wrestling, like Transformers, like comic books, like Tokusatsu, like whatever you like. And you can find those reviews at youtube.com/thevacuuminator. I also do occasional fun offshoot type stuff, so if you're into just YouTube in general, go ahead and check me out, see if there's something you like on my channel. Maybe think about subscribing. And if you subscribe, go ahead and donate to me on Patreon. That's patreon.com/thevacuuminator. And follow me on the social medias. I'm on Twitter at The Vacuuminator and on Instagram at The Vacuuminator. That's spelled VACUUMINATOR.
Alrighty, I am Chris Boingo Rider Gaston. Chris Boingo Rider Gaston. I make video editorials on YouTube, and you can find me on this platform under Boingo Rider. I am at Twitter at Boingo_Rider and Instagram at Boingo_Rider. This has been Modular Media Wrestling Podcast on Modular Media, a collective creative cooperative. We make sure.
Oh my god, somebody got the actual name of the acronym right for once.
Shit, I'm tired.
We've been recording quite a while. It's 3 a.m.
Yeah. But this is Modern Media, so fucking smash that like button. Fucking make love to the subscribe if you want to hear more.
Too sweet to Twitter.
Yeah, just do shit.
Super kick the Reddit. I'm out of references. I'm gonna go to sleep.
Yep. Wrestling! Wrestling!
Good night.